A slap doesn't end a feud, it just makes it louder. Tom Brady slapped Logan Paul on a New York stage, and within hours Triple H had a choice: ignore it or turn Brady into WWE's biggest new attraction. What decision did he make? Stay with me to find out. It happened fast. 1 second, Tom Brady and Logan Paul were standing on a stage at Fanatics Fest in New York City, wrapping up a panel. The next second, Brady reached over and delivered an open-handed slap to Paul in front of a live crowd. Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks center who happened to be standing right between them, had a front row seat to the whole thing. Brady's right hand struck Paul right in the face, so strongly that it could likely be heard from every seat in the building. And Towns had a first row seat to the action, standing literally inches away from Brady and Paul. As tensions flared, he separated them and prevented the scuffle from reaching another level. This wasn't some random backstage scuffle nobody would ever see. A clip posted on Fanatics X account showed the moment Brady and Paul faced off near center stage. While exchanging what appeared to be spicy words, cameras were rolling, and within hours the clip was everywhere. The original Fanatics clip went viral, and within 3 hours had been viewed more than 5 million times. By the next day, the numbers had exploded even further, more than 17.5 million views on Instagram and 6.9 million on X. Here's the part that matters for anyone who follows WWE closely. Logan Paul isn't just some influencer who wandered into a football event. Paul made his WWE debut in 2021 and has become one of the company's biggest crossover attractions. He's a contracted WWE superstar. He's been signed to the entertainment company since 2022 and has emerged as a big star in the ring, though he's been sidelined for 2 months due to a torn tricep. That injury happened during a title defense, and it's the reason he was standing on that stage without a wrestling match to worry about, instead of trading blows in real time. Brady, on the other hand, wasn't just some retired quarterback goofing around either. Less than 24 hours before he slapped Paul, Brady sat down with WWE's own Cody Rhodes and made it clear he wanted in. He told Rhodes he'd been waiting for WWE President Nick Khan to come up with some storyline for him to get in the mix. He went further, saying he feels like he's retired from football and has an opportunity to go out there and still showcase that he's a little bit of an athlete, noting his friend Rob Gronkowski has done it and he's seen Logan Paul do it. And if he were to enter the ring, he'd probably be a heel. He even doubled down on the villain pitch, explaining that because he was usually on winning teams, opposing fans love to hate him, adding that when you go on the road and you've had some success in the NFL, they don't like you. It's an incredible feeling when you work that entire day to basically try to send the crowd home early. So a guy who just publicly begged WWE for a match ends up slapping a current WWE Tag Team Champion on a stage, on camera. Less than a day later, that timing is not nothing. The slap itself has a bit of controversy baked into it. Slow the video down and there's a real question about whether Brady's hand actually connected clean. Brady removes his hand from the pocket of his camouflage cargo pants and moves to strike. And at first glance, it appears Brady slapped Paul across the face. But closer inspection shows that Brady's hand missed the target and only made contact with Paul's shoulder. Doesn't matter much to the internet. What people saw was a slap. What people heard was loud. And what people felt almost instantly was that this had the fingerprints of a wrestling angle on it. That's where Triple H comes in. Paul Levesque doesn't just run a wrestling company anymore. He's WWE's chief content officer, the man who signs off on every creative direction the brand takes, every feud, every crossover stunt. He is signed to WWE, where he serves as its chief content officer, its head of creative, and an executive producer. If Tom Brady wants to end up in a WWE ring, the road runs through him. And multiple outlets picked up on exactly that irony within hours of the slap going viral. Longtime NFL quarterback Tom Brady recently told Cody Rhodes that he is interested in competing in at least one WWE match at some point. And apparently the 7-time Super Bowl champion isn't waiting for Paul Triple H Levesque to book the match before getting physical with WWE talent. So here's the picture forming. A 7-time Super Bowl champion just physically confronted a current WWE champion on a public stage. Cameras caught the entire thing. WWE's own social accounts amplified it, and the guy who controls WWE's entire creative calendar suddenly has a viral 5 million view moment sitting in his lap that he didn't have to write, didn't have to pitch, and didn't have to pay for. Towns, for his part, looked genuinely baffled by the whole thing. He wasn't in on any storyline, he was just a basketball player standing at the wrong spot at the wrong time. And that's part of what makes this so believable as either a real blow-up or the best produced fake fight WWE's had in years. Either way, it landed in Triple H's world. Whether he asked for it or not, none of this came out of nowhere. Brady and Paul have been building toward this moment for months. And if you trace the feud back, you can watch it escalate step by step, almost like someone was scripting it in real time. It started back in February, months before anyone was talking about a slap. The disagreement started when Paul told Brady at a February Fanatics event. He thought his WWE career made him as athletic as NFL players. That's a bold claim to make to a 7-time Super Bowl champion sitting a few feet away from you. Paul doubled down on his podcast, telling his audience directly, "If you put me and Tom Brady up athletically, I bet I'd be more athletic." He used the word cute when talking about WWE. I think in many ways, football is also cute. He went even further, adding that he thought most NFL and NBA players would lose to real boxers in the ring, and he'd count himself among the guys who could prove it. Brady wasn't exactly quiet about his own opinion of WWE either. On Paul's podcast, he made his stance clear, calling wrestling cute, and saying that when he thought of real athletes, guys like Saquon Barkley or Justin Jefferson, that's a different category from what Paul does. You're a good athlete. But when I'm thinking of Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham, Justin Jefferson, Brady said, "It's cute. I love WWE. It's very cute. But honestly, this is like real football. This is real competition." That's the kind of line that turns a friendly back and forth into something with actual heat behind it. Then it got personal. Brady called Paul a name in an Instagram post, alongside his old teammate Rob Gronkowski, and Paul wasn't about to let it slide. Paul fired back, saying he would throw hands with Brady, telling his audience directly he was still going to score a touchdown and beat Brady's ass, and that he wouldn't be surprised if he threw hands with him on the field, adding that Brady does not want to throw hands. Fighting talk months before any actual fight. The feud moved from podcasts to an actual football field in March. Brady and Paul first clashed before playing against one another during the 2026 Fanatics Flag Football Classic in March. The two faced off again at the draft for the Fanatics Flag Football event, during which Brady called out Paul for citing his high school football stats in his argument. Brady wasn't shy about warning Paul directly either, telling him at the draft, "You might wear a helmet minus that ball might get loose in my hand, and if you're not paying attention." That's not a subtle threat. That's Brady basically promising to hit Paul with a football on purpose. And he followed through. The NFL legend made good on his pregame threat, and did throw the ball at Paul during the game back in March. Brady then trolled Paul while the two played on opposite sides of the flag football tournament. Paul's team actually won their head-to-head matchup that day. Paul's Wildcats defeated Brady's Founders team, though Team USA won the event overall. Paul even celebrated with an "I'm sorry" video mocking Brady afterward. The trash talk didn't stop once the football game ended. In the weeks after, Brady kept needling Paul on a live stream, pulling trading cards of athletes attending Fanatics Fest. And when Paul's card came up, Brady didn't hold back, yelling on camera, "How do you even have a rookie card? You're not even an athlete." That live stream happened alongside a roster of legitimate legends, Eli Manning, John Cena, The Undertaker, and more, which tells you how big the stage was that Brady chose to keep poking at Paul on. Then came the injury. Paul is recovering from a torn triceps suffered May 23 during his WWE World Tag Team Championship defense with the Vision's Austin Theory. That injury pulled him out of active competition. Braun Breaker has replaced him as Theory's partner amid his injury, but it didn't pull him out of the beef with Brady. If anything, it gave him more time to talk about it. So by the time the two of them walked onto that Fanatics Fest stage together in July, this wasn't two strangers meeting for the first time. This was 5 months of cute comments, thrown footballs, mocked rookie cards, and public trash talk finally boiling over. In front of a live crowd and a camera crew, the slap wasn't the start of anything. It was the release valve on a story that had been building since February. Once the clip hit the internet, it wasn't just fans losing their minds. The people actually involved in the moment had things to say, and so did people watching from the outside. And their reactions tell you almost everything about how this was being read in real time. Start with Brady himself. Rather than distancing himself from the moment or apologizing, he leaned all the way in. "Dork," Brady posted on social media, after resharing the video of the slap. One word, no explanation. No context, just a direct shot at Paul reposted to his own massive following. And it worked. Brady's reaction had already gone viral with over 1 million views shortly after he posted it. He wasn't done there either. He came back with another post aimed squarely at Paul, writing, "I tried America," referring to the viral slap, before adding, We'll try again next time I see this nerd. That's not the language of a guy who feels bad about what happened. That's a guy having fun with it. Publicly on purpose, Paul's response looked very different on the surface, even if it came from the same playful place. He framed himself as the victim of the moment, tying the whole thing back to the fact that he'd been needling Brady over their earlier football loss. He wrote that the exchange began because he was roasting Tom for beating him in flag football, and he tries to smack me, calling it a horrible example for the kids. He also made sure to remind everyone about his arm, adding a jab about his own condition. On top of the complaint, writing aura -100+ blocked, and pointing out he'd suffered the slap with a torn tricep. Getting blocked by a 7-time Super Bowl champion online is its own kind of headline, and Paul made sure people noticed it. Then there's Karl Anthony Towns, the guy who physically stood between two grown men mid-altercation with zero warning. He didn't get a scripted line in this story, he was just there. And his reaction afterwards said plenty without needing many words. New York Knicks player Karl Anthony Towns, who stepped in between the two during the heated moment, also reposted the clip on X with a wide-eyed emoji. No commentary, no take, just pure shock translated into an emoji. If you want to know how real this felt in the moment, Towns' reaction might be the most honest evidence in the entire story. He wasn't in on a bit. He was standing inches from two large men who just traded a slap, and he looked like it. Outside the three people directly involved, the reaction split almost immediately into two camps. One camp thought this was completely real, a genuine blow-up between two competitive men who'd been building toward this for months. The other camp watched the same footage and saw a promo. Even artificial intelligence got dragged into the debate. When asked to weigh in, Grok reviewed the footage and came back skeptical that any of it was a real fight, describing it as a playful, likely staged promo moment. From Fanatics Fest NYC, where Tom Brady and Logan Paul were bantering about athleticism WWE stuff on stage. Noting that Brady slapped him, KAT stepped in to de-escalate and it stayed light fun, and calling it not WWE prep, just celebrity event vibes. That split matters because it's exactly the kind of confusion that makes a moment blow up even bigger. Nobody could agree on whether this was real, which meant everybody kept talking about it, kept sharing the clip, kept tagging their friends. The scene itself had all the visual hallmarks of professional wrestling storytelling: the perfect camera angle, the conveniently placed third party breaking things up, the immediate social media follow-up from both participants keeping the story alive instead of letting it die. One writer covering the moment for Heavy put it bluntly, describing the whole sequence as carrying the look of a wrestling angle, from the convenient camera position to Paul's exaggerated response. Whether it was real or not stopped mattering pretty quickly, though, because the attention was already locked in. Paul was asked directly about his injury status on ESPN's First Take that same day. And rather than downplaying his recovery, he seemed to signal he was closer to a return than people thought, showing his arm to the camera and asking bluntly, "Does that look injured to you?" before admitting the medical team still needed to clear him and that he needed a few more months. That's a guy who just got slapped on national video and, in the same breath, is talking about getting back in the ring. If there was ever a moment for WWE's creative team to start connecting dots between an injury update and a viral fight, this was it. This is where the story stops being about Brady and Paul trading jabs and starts being about the man whose job is to decide what happens next with all of it, Triple H. Understand what his role actually is inside WWE right now. He's not a wrestler moonlighting in an office. He is signed to WWE, where he serves as its chief content officer, its head of creative, and an executive producer. Every storyline that airs on WWE programming, every crossover moment, every celebrity cameo that turns into an actual angle, it runs through his creative direction. If Tom Brady steps into a WWE ring for even one match, it happens because Triple H's creative team decided it should happen, built a story around it, and greenlit the production. And Brady wasn't shy about naming exactly who he needed to hear from. During his podcast appearance with Cody Rhodes just one day before the slap, Brady made his pitch directly, saying I need to get an invite. I've been waiting for WWE President Nick Khan to come up with some storyline for me to get in the mix. Notice who Brady called out by name there, Nick Khan, the president. Not Triple H directly, but anyone who follows how WWE actually operates knows that Khan handles the business side, while Levesque controls the actual creative machinery that decides who gets a storyline and who doesn't. If Brady wants an in-ring moment, it's Triple H's department that has to write it. That's exactly why outlets covering the slap kept circling back to him by name, even without a direct quote to run. One piece framed the entire situation as Brady simply skipping the line, writing that the seven-time champion isn't waiting for Paul Triple H Levesque to book the match before getting physical with WWE talent. That's the framing that matters here. Brady didn't wait for a green light. He created the moment himself on a stage WWE didn't own. In front of cameras WWE didn't control. And then WWE's own official channels turned around and amplified it anyway. Because that's the other piece of this. WWE didn't ignore the clip or stay quiet about it. The company's official account posted its own angle of the footage, capturing Paul's exact reaction in the chaos, with Paul heard yelling something in the immediate aftermath as staff pulled the two apart. When a company's official social presence chooses to repost a celebrity altercation instead of staying silent on it, that's a signal. It tells you the moment fits somewhere in the plans, even if nobody's confirmed exactly where yet. And Triple H has history here that fans don't forget quickly. He's the guy who has personally walked out at Fanatics Fest before, alongside Rhea Ripley, doing exactly the kind of surprise crossover appearance that blurs the line between real life and WWE programming. Rhea Ripley and Paul Triple H Levesque surprising fans during their patented walkouts was one of the signature viral moments from the previous year's event. This isn't a guy who's unfamiliar with using a live, star-studded, camera-heavy environment like Fanatics Fest to plant a seed for something bigger. If anyone in that building had the instincts to recognize a made-for-television moment happening in real time, it's him. So picture the timeline from his side of the desk. Thursday, Brady sits down with one of WWE's top stars and publicly begs for a match, invoking Gronkowski and Paul as his proof of concept, and even volunteers to play the villain. Friday, less than 24 hours later, Brady is caught on camera slapping the very wrestler he name-dropped as his inspiration, in front of a crowd that includes an NBA All-Star and cameras from a partner company. By Friday night, the clip has been viewed millions of times across every platform. Both men are publicly trading jabs online, and speculation about a WWE angle is already trending. If you're the person controlling WWE's creative calendar, that's not a headache. That's a gift. You didn't have to write the promo. You didn't have to build the heat. Two of the most famous men connected to sports and entertainment right now just built it for you for free in one afternoon. That's likely why there wasn't a rush of urgent, defensive statements from WWE's leadership in the immediate aftermath. Silence in a situation like this isn't the same as absence. When a moment lands this perfectly into a creative team's lap, a superstar looking for a return date, a legendary athlete publicly campaigning for a spot, and a viral altercation tying them together, the smartest move is often to let the internet do the marketing before anyone officially weighs in. Triple H didn't need to comment right away to shape what happens next. He just needed to watch the numbers climb and decide when the moment was right to make it official. So where does this actually go from here? The slap didn't end anything. If anything, it opened a door that had been sitting ajar since February. Start with the practical reality: Paul's still hurt. The reignition of the beef with Brady could provide more hype around Paul's eventual return to the ring. Once he recovers from an injury, he said WWE doctors estimated would take 6 months to heal. That timeline puts his actual return sometime around the fall, which lines up almost too conveniently with a company that loves building toward its biggest fall and winter shows. A 6-month recovery window that started in May points toward a return, right when WWE would want a fresh, hyped-up storyline ready to go. Brady, for his part, hasn't backed off the idea even slightly. If anything, the slap gave him leverage he didn't have before. Before the incident, he was a retired quarterback publicly asking for a chance. After it, he's a retired quarterback with a legitimate, viral, built-in rival waiting for him the moment that rival's arm heals. It's proof that the pair has done a fine job of generating heat together. And if there were ever a meeting between the two in a WWE ring, it would probably do big business. There's also the question nobody's fully answered yet: how much of this was ever actually spontaneous? Even people who covered the moment straight down the middle kept circling back to how convenient the whole sequence looked. You can't argue it made for a good clip to spread on social media. Plus, it probably made Brady feel like a tough guy for a bit, even if he knows it was all fake. And when it comes to Paul specifically, some longtime observers weren't shy about calling it part of a pattern. As for Paul, it's just the latest in a long line of publicity stunts to keep himself relevant, and once again, it worked. But even if some of it was theater still needs a stage. And somebody still has to decide when the curtain goes back up. That's the position Triple H is in right now. He doesn't need to confirm anything publicly to be the one holding the next move. Every report circling this story keeps landing on the same detail: Brady wants in. Khan's the name he called out publicly, but Levesque's creative team is the one that actually has to build whatever comes next. Nothing happens in that ring without going through him first. There's a version of this where nothing else ever comes of it, where the slap stays exactly what it looked like on a random Friday in July. Two competitive guys blowing off steam, Towns caught in the middle, everybody moving on by the following week. Fanatics Fest wraps, WWE's regular programming rolls forward with Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden. And Brady goes back to broadcasting football games while Paul finishes healing. But there's another version, and it's the one that's louder right now. It's the version where a company that has spent years bringing outside stars into the ring. From Dennis Rodman to Karl Malone. From Chicago Bulls legend Dennis Rodman and Utah Jazz star Karl Malone competing in WWE. To Pete Rose, Shaquille O'Neal, Floyd Mayweather, Lawrence Taylor, and Ronda Rousey all making appearances. Looks at a 7-time Super Bowl champion who just generated 5 million views by slapping their own champion. And decide the story writes itself. Paul's already given the promotion an update on his condition that leaves the door open. Brady's already told the world exactly what kind of character he wants to play if he steps through the ropes. The heel, the bad guy, the man the whole building wants to boo. And Triple H already runs the machine that decides which stories get greenlit and which ones fade out. All the pieces are sitting on the table. The only thing missing right now is the official word. Until that word comes, both men keep trading shots online. The clip keeps racking up views and everyone connected to this. Brady, Paul, Towns, and the man ultimately deciding whether any of this becomes something bigger, knows exactly how good the story already looks. Whether Triple H ever puts his name directly to a statement about the slap or simply lets his creative decisions speak for him, one thing is clear. The moment landed in his hands, and how WWE moves next will tell the real story of whether Fanatics Fest just gave the company its next big program for free. Sources: Tom Brady slaps WWE's Logan Paul in Fanatics Fest video after heated face-off amid beef, Bleacher Report. Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul at Fanatics game, fuels WWE match speculation, just jarred. Tom Brady and Logan Paul get into heated exchange that ends with a slap. But was it fake? The Hollywood Reporter. Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul during heated Fanatics Fest confrontation, Complex. Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul, Fightful. Karl Anthony Towns left baffled after NFL legend Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul at Fanatics Fest, Yahoo Sports. Tom Brady sends one-word message after slapping WWE star Logan Paul. Yahoo Sports: Tom Brady's brutal one-word response after slapping Logan Paul. Yahoo Sports: Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul at Fanatics Fest. Calls him a dork and nerd on X Variety. Tom Brady reacts to video of him slapping Logan Paul on stage. Yahoo People: Tom Brady trolls Logan Paul about WWE rookie card after cute diss. Bleacher Report: Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul. Expresses desire for a WWE match. Yahoo Sports USA Today. Patriots legend Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul as WWE rumors swirl. Heavy: Tom Brady slaps Logan Paul on stage, then trades barbs with the dork on social media. AOL People: Tom Brady smacks WWE champion at Fanatics Fest. Heavy trailer released for ESPN's Fanatics Fest. All access special ESPN press room.